The Treasure Coast Lexus Studios, your home for Rudy Howard's African American scene on WPSL. Treasure Coast Lexus, US 1, south of Midway Road.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but you are encouraged to like and share them on Facebook and Twitter and all of your favorite social networks, because it's time now for the African American scene, presented by Howard Insurance in Port St. Lucie and hosted by Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on a Wednesday night. I have to tell you, I probably let that discussion go with Steve go too long last week, and that I will not do again. But I just wanted to let you guys know one thing. He tried to lay the groundwork that we all lie, so Trump's lies are of no consequence. That just doesn't fly, and it will never fly, because he's the leader of our country, and his lies is not just any lie; it's a lie as the leader of the country. So let me get that out there right off the bat. So that little foray into trying to make that work is never going to happen. But I will say this to you too. One of the reasons why we are so divided as a nation is because if we can't look at what's in front of us and call it for what it is, and we have to defend it because he's a member of our tribe, we are in deep trouble. Because I will tell you, if somebody who's a Democrat or a progressive does something that I think is not in the best interest of our country, I'm going to call it out.
That's right.
I'm not going to defend them just because they're a Democrat. And we better wake up to that, because that is an issue that we need to address. Okay, now I'm off my soapbox. Okay, I have two guests with me tonight. I have Anaya, who was here before, and we shared her book of poetry, if you'll recall, which was really neat. And I also have Robert Joseph. And Robert Joseph is a local entrepreneur. He has a security company here in Fort Pierce. And he's been working with Anaya, putting on her event. And your event, well, Anaya, say hello and to our audience.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
And Robert, say hello.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Okay. So Anaya's been putting on this event that she said she was spiritually led to create this event, and she's been doing it for a few years now. When is your event, and where are you going to have it at again?
All right. First of all, it's so good to be here with you guys again. As you guys know, we are family up in here, right?
Yes.
And it's definitely spiritually led, like you said, and it will be on the 3rd, which is in just a couple of days here on Friday, and it'll be an all-day event. For those that have been to our previous events with, Freedom Entertainment Group, you'll know that we open the doors at the Port St. Lucie Community Center by 10 a.m., and it literally lasts all day. So that actually can be 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, or sometimes we shut it down a little early depending on the mood of the community.
Okay, and what kinds of things will you have going on?
Well, this year we're focused on a day of healing. And just to let the community know, for those that haven't heard from me in a little while, we were supposed to be going on tour this year. So this year was supposed to be a day of healing tour where we would have been in different cities. But this year we've taken a different approach due to my schedule and the conflicts that I've had. So we'll readdress that another time with the tour. But you will see different speakers come out. You will get information from vendors. You'll meet people like Mr. Robert Joseph and get to share some great, things at people's tables. In the previous years, we've had testings being done. And if you're listening and you want to be a part, there's still time to be able to do so. We've had live fashion shows in our past events, as well as live music and entertainers come out to perform. And so we're looking for the same vibe this year, but again, with the scheduling conflicts and a few different things that occurred, which I'm not going to state on air right now, but we're taking care of it. Things have switched up a little bit this year.
Yeah. With this being election season, are candidates allowed to establish a place at your event?
Matter of fact, if there are candidates that are listening or watching, because we will be posting this later, correct? Yes. Yes, actually, I would love to meet some of the candidates that are, running presently. Yes, they can come out. We've had it in past years, and I didn't realize that this was the season again. I live in New York City again, so it's like, oh man, I don't know what's going on from city to city. But yes, come on down, you guys.
Are you living in the city proper, or are you living on the outskirts?
So I'm like literally. Do you know where Wall Street is? Right out of right out of Manhattan. I'm right in the Park Slope area. So it's like right out of Manhattan. So I'm like one stop off of the train or so from Manhattan downtown Brooklyn.
I used to work on Maiden Lane.
Oh, Maiden Lane in Manhattan,
Yeah,
the city, right around the corner from Wall Street.
Yeah, and then I worked on John Street.
Okay.
125 John.
You remember that? That's awesome.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Were you doing insurance then as well?
Yes, I worked for a large brokerage house when I was on John Street. And I worked for an insurance company when I was on Maiden Lane.
Okay.
I had the 8th and 9th floor on, I think it was 83 Maiden Lane. Right up from the seaport.
Well, I don't know when this was exactly, but Maiden Lane switches up, and that whole area is constantly revitalized and renewed, and there's so much happening. But it's a great community, seriously.
Yeah.
I love New York, you know that.
Well, especially for most Southerners, they either like New York or they hate New York.
Well, I'm from New York originally, for those that are wondering. So I am from Brooklyn originally, and I like to tell people I got kidnapped and brought to Florida because I would have never chosen Florida on my own accord. Everybody knows. Well, it's not a personal thing, but I have severe allergies to the climate, as well as the tropical seasons and things like that. So that's another reason why me and Florida don't mix. But because this is a God-given event that I do here, and when I do get called upon to speak in different locations, I do travel and just stay indoors in the AC until I have to come out and take a lot of what do you call those, Zyrtec? What are your allergy medicine? So I take a lot of that too.
Yeah. Okay, Robert, how did you end up here?
Hey, good afternoon again. My name is Robert. Well, I'm get up here, so I'm a good friend, sisters, Anaya, the one and only everybody knows in the town. So even she says she don't like me, Florida, that she knows she got a green card for Florida, so she's welcome to stay.
All day.
Yeah. So Robert, what brought you here to Florida? You a native?
Hey, no, I was born in Haiti, grew up from Haiti. After high school, I came here. I live in Miami, go to Miami-Dade College. After that, I go to FIU. And from there, I was working for Miami-Dade PD. And I've been serving the community. So that's why I'm here. This is my hometown, and I love it. So, and I go to New York. My wife from New York, but hey, I don't stay for New York for no reason.
Is it because it's too cold up there for you?
No, I don't like it. I just don't like it.
You don't like it at all?
No. When I get to New York, I tell my wife, you know what? I don't want to sleep there. Let me go back. She said, no. She always want to go back to New York. I said, if you want to go back to New York after the kid finish, so you can go get the vacation in New York, so I stay here.
Well, I have visions of, I lived in Long Island, so I used to ride the train into Manhattan every day. So I have visions of standing on that platform when it was 28 degrees outside and it was snowing, with my suit and briefcase and the wind and the snow beating on me as I'm waiting for the train.
Oh, boy.
That I do not miss at all. Not even one teeny weeny little bit.
Let me tell you ready for this? This past year was one of our coldest winters ever, okay? And I tell you no lie, that actually just happened to me. So I'm sitting here reliving that memory. We had just missed the train leaving Long Island. We were stuck out in Long Island. The next one wasn't coming for another like 5 hours. I didn't even know where I was. Like, you know, I go to events, people invite me to places. You GPS it thinking, oh, this looks like it's going to be a great ride. And then you get stuck. So I legit was stuck on this platform, and then they don't open the doors for you to be indoors because of all the vandalism and all the problems. So it was myself and like 4 random strangers that huddled together. This is what we do in New York. We might have beef in the streets, but when it's time to huddle together to stay out of the cold, we're all a family all of a sudden. And we had to huddle together to stay warm. And I was like, oh my God. So as you tell that story, this just happened to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But by the same token, I will tell you this, and maybe, Robert, you haven't experienced this part. There's probably not a prettier place in the country than Long Island in the summertime. In the summertime, Long Island is beautiful. It's got lakes and parks and the beaches. It's really, really, Long Island's really nice in the summertime. And the other thing that's very nice in the summertime, if you've been there, if you go to Lincoln Center on a Sunday, on a nice summer night, and the sidewalk cafes, people out there eating and drinking, that is a beautiful sight. And the one thing that I do miss is the wife and I, at least once or twice a year, would go in and have a nice dinner and go see a nice show.
Yes.
That I miss.
On Broadway?
Yes.
Yes, I knew it.
I'll go in and see. We saw James Earl Jones when he was on the first run Broadway for Fences, and I went in, and at 42nd Street they have what they call the 2 for 10. Okay, have you ever seen that?
I've seen that, and I just for some reason every winter, so in summer sometime, especially winter, my wife always take the kids to New York. The kids always want to go to New York in winter. Sometimes we go for the summer. But I don't like to stay in line to go look for a live show. So,
so you miss those lines, those long lines. You're a real smart man.
Yeah. But yeah, that I miss.
Yeah.
And listen, when it comes to food, oh my Lord, they have good restaurants and it's some of the best restaurants. Here's the thing about New York, especially if you live there. Some of the best restaurants are little holes in the wall on the street that most people would walk right by. And some of the best food right in there, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Cliff is like, yeah.
I was stuck up there for a couple of days. When I was a teenager, I snuck on a Greyhound bus and went and auditioned with the Muppets.
Oh.
So I got to meet those guys.
Nice.
But they all had good advice. They said, always do your own puppets because you'd have to sign a lifetime non-compete contract. So I said, okay.
And that's why you do your own puppets and everything. Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a little break, and if you want to call in and talk to the guests or you want to make a comment, that phone number is 340-1590. That's 340-1590. Don't touch that dial, because we'll be right back with the African American Scene.
Serving the entire Treasure Coast, Howard Insurance & Associates in Port St. Lucie offers a wide variety of insurance products, along with the very best customer service. Whether you're shopping for the best homeowners coverage at the most affordable value, contact Rudy Howard's team at Howard Insurance & Associates. If you need coverage for your vehicle, call Howard Insurance & Associates, 343-9878. That's 343-9878. Maybe you're planning to add a boat, motorcycle, or RV. Call Howard Insurance & Associates for your free quote at 343-9878 and get the coverage you need at a cost that will fit your budget. For home or business, auto or recreational vehicle, choose Howard Insurance & Associates, 600 Southwest Darwin Boulevard, Suite 206, Port St. Lucie. And for your free rate quote, call them at 343-9878, 343-9878.
The Marlins end August in Atlanta Monday through Wednesday, moving on to Thursday through Saturday nights and Sunday on WSTU. The New York Mets host the Atlanta Braves Saturday night and Sunday afternoon on WPSL. Friday night the 3rd is the St. Lucie Mets hosting Daytona. Adam McDonald has the call on WPSL. Mets Marlins and ESPN Baseball 2018 is brought to you by Treasure Coast Lexus of Fort Pierce, Treasure Coast Toyota of Stewart, Code Red Roofers, Nice Air, and the Quit Dog Foundation of Martin County on both WPSL and WSTU. 6:23 right now. We return to the African American scene once again. Here's your host, Rudy Howard.
So, tell me, how long does it take you to put together this event that you do every year here?
Well, it's funny because it takes about 6 to 9 months of producing, getting the key players to be a part of our event, and getting everything in line. I really don't have much of a break, but yeah, about 6 to 9 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just so that you guys don't know, I mean, she does a little bit of everything. She's been on Dr. Oz, and she routinely works with the National Action Network.
Woohoo! Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for some of you, y'all know that's the organization that was started by Reverend Al Sharpton.
Correct.
Yeah, so tell my audience a little bit about National Action Network.
So the National Action Network, I'm so glad you brought that up, because as you can see, we have the flyers here for those that are interested. I'm literally shouting out Reverend Sharpton from Florida. This is actually super dope for me, by the way. Who would have thought that I'd be able to do this? But anyway, so the work that I do with the National Action Network, I'm on several committees. I am on the Women's Auxiliary. I am also on Kathy Jordan Sharpton Scholarship Fund. I have to take my time to say that, so shouts out to her. Shouts out to the Reverend himself. And I actually joined the National Action Network in the heart of Harlem in New York City due to a crisis that I was dealing with. And I'm not going to share because it's a situation I'm still dealing with. But I'm going to shout out my boy. I call him my best friend, James C.B. Gray, whom I met at an event in Queens. And I explained to him what I was going through. Had no idea, first of all, that Reverend was actually in New York every week. See, with the Reverend Al Sharpton, we see him on MSNBC. We hear him on the radios. We see him on CNN. So in my mind, I thought the Rev was in China or something, or maybe South Africa, or Burkina Faso. You never know. And so what was so funny was I found out about the organization. I even knew some of the producers of his show, but again, never knew that they were in the heart of Harlem in New York City. When I found that out, and I was invited to the rally, which is actually every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 at 106 West 145th Street, I said, oh my God, I get to chill and meet him like in person. They're like, yeah. I'm like, wow. I already had met him at an event prior to that at the Circle of Sisters in Manhattan, but to actually know that I could join an organization and he would be there was like mind blowing. And so I took the chance, and I'm not an early bird. If you know me, I do a lot of my work in the middle of the night. Like you said, I do quite a few things, being in production and things like that. It's very hard for me to sleep at night, but I took the sacrifice, and I said, I'm going to go to NAN and I'm going to see what this is about. Walked in the doors, and I think literally there was Reverend Al Sharpton on the podium. All the cameras are there, and I still get goosebumps to this day. All the cameras are there. I don't recall exactly what situation we were fighting that day when I walked in, but it was something that was going on, and man, it just blew my mind. And then shortly thereafter, now you guys are going to be like, what? So shortly thereafter, coming to that one rally, and then I kept going every Saturday because I was getting fed something I had not been fed in a long time. And that was like civil rights. That was like standing up for myself and the community and working together as a people. A lot of people know a lot of bad things about Reverend Al Sharpton, but they don't know the amazing things that he does. And so I got to learn.
Let me interrupt you for one thing. Make sure that you let my audience know. He has these meetings every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday morning. and you can actually tune in on several sites. You can actually tune in on the TV station WLIB. I think it's 1400 a.m. in New York City, and we also are on TV too, live, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna post all of this later, but I think it's a Christian television station that is live. But he's there every Saturday morning. And the thing about Reverend Al Sharpton that people don't know is he will literally fly in from wherever he is in the world to make sure he's there on a Saturday. There hasn't been like one Saturday that I've been there. I think maybe one Saturday, I think, that he wasn't there. And the other Saturday that he wasn't there, it was because we were at a 4-day convention in the heart of Manhattan in Times Square, where he has his annual conventions. 4 days at the Sheraton. But other than that, he is there. And I tell you, no lie. People say all these bad things, but they don't know this man. They don't know his heart. I can stand up and say, I've seen the work that's being done. I am a member of the National Action Network. I fight with the people. I go to the rallies. You know, the only thing I haven't really done yet is gotten the civil disobedience award for getting arrested. But guess what? That's coming because my team was like, Anaya, you have to come out. I said, okay, the police. Oh, my God. But, yeah, Reverend Sharpton is a great man, and I really respect him and what he's doing. And the whole team, our whole team is out on the front lines on a daily basis. Speaking of, real quick, is it okay if I share that I would love to see a chapter here?
Well, we want to talk about that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. She and I have been talking about possibly establishing, or as Robert would say, re-establishing, because
Yes.
Robert said there was a National Action Network chapter here. Tell us a little bit about what happened.
What happened is we started when Mr. Johnson was on it. We have like a couple meetings, probably like 4 meetings. And for some reason, they stopped grouping up again. So when I calling him, he told me, so he's waiting for people from New York so to move on with things, because we didn't have place for meetings, stuff like that. We used to meet a newest one. And for some reason, he just disappeared just like that. So it's a good chance for us to put it back together, and we hopefully everybody from Fort Pierce and Treasure Coast, Port St. Lucie, and the board to join us, because it's not about anything. It's not about like race. Is about people fighting for the white. So, and whoever called you to be part of this thing is it for benefit for our young kids to coming up.
And you know what's funny? Can I just say, I didn't even know that this brother here knew about what I'm talking about. Do you see how God works? I invited him to be like right here because he's been a vendor at my events. I had no idea. And remember, myself and Rudy, we sat together last week and discussed how there was a chapter here and we don't know what happened. Now there's evidence and there's more back information, because I've already made the call to the headquarters and asked for the way to establish headquarters here, because we have 2 communities or several communities on the Treasure Coast that need to merge together and see something like this come to fruition. And if it's already been here, like you both are saying, we need to reestablish it.
Yeah, I think so. And listen, I can tell you, he is probably among most white folks the most misunderstood guy there is. And I can say, having come here from New York, I basically saw his rise back when he would wear the warm-up suits.
Oh, yeah.
And the hair would be flying. That guy back there is a lot different than the guy today.
That's right.
And the guy today is a guy I have a lot of respect for and has done an awful lot of good things. And you know, I have some conservative folks that I know who hate him with passion.
Yeah.
And I've asked him, well, what is it that you hate about him? And he's a race pimp. I don't know what that means,
Correct,
but
right.
yeah, you know what I mean. I heard it.
Like, people will say the most craziest things out of their mouths because they don't even know this man. And you know what? I can understand where some of the ideologies are coming from, or these innuendos or what have you, because they just see what they see in the media. Anybody, when you think about it, who's fighting for something so passionately is going to be critiqued, is going to be slandered, you know? And literally what happens is this man, like you said, you saw him rising up. This man came from the hood of Brooklyn. People are probably still trying to figure out, how does a man like that, who came from nothing, and he'll tell you straight up, how does a man like that come from nothing and is who he is today? with the presidents, with, all the Congress people. Let me tell you something real quick. At this convention, remember, I just had started the National Action Network as a member. Within 2 weeks, I'm at this convention, and I'm floored. I'm shaking hands with Bernie Sanders, telling him, God bless you. Within 2 seconds, I'm now shaking hands with Cory Booker, who's telling me, God bless you to me. I'm Facebooking live. This stuff like this cannot be real life. Kamala, Harris is there. Common is speaking. And then, wait a minute. Do you know who I met and took pictures with? Dr. Martin Luther King III. Let me tell you guys something about that. I cried as I spoke with this man because I saw his parents through him. And when I tell you that's something I'll never forget, so at the end of the day, for those that think, the Reverend Al Sharpton is a race pimp or whatever they want to say, y'all need to take 10 seats. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm going to let you know how it is. If you have anything to talk about, talk to Anaya A, because I will keep it 100 with you. Like, this man is doing some work, and we need to stay focused, and we need to reestablish this organization here on the Treasure Coast, as well as other communities that need to be united.
And we got Jay on line 1. Jay, my friend.
Hey, how you doing, Rudy? And to your guest.
Yes.
Good talking to you. Yeah, I'm listening, and I wasn't gonna call, but then when you start talking about Al, because I'm a member of the National Action Network. I've been a life member. I used to go to rallies with him when I was living in New York, and I was at one of the rallies where he got stabbed, almost lost his life. I was there in Bensonhurst with him.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's a demonstration, and it was something that was really. It was weird how it happened, but we were there fighting for, for the rights of Yusuf Hawkins, who was murdered. Young African American youngster, about 17, who was a student.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
he was in Bensonhurst, just he was looking for a used car that was advertised, and these young white fellas didn't like the idea of this black guy coming in our neighborhood, and they killed him. And the police didn't do anything about it until Al jumped in, and we started protesting just about every weekend. And one youngster man came out of the crowd and stabbed Al.
Wow.
And, that happened in the 80s, so he's been through a lot, and the struggle never ends. And the same thing that we're dealing with now with the authorities, and the lack of the authorities doing justice when they should be doing justice instead of letting it go by. Like Al is going to be down in Clearwater this weekend, Saturday, for a big rally because of the young man that was shot and killed defending his wife and child.
Wow.
When this man came up and started cursing at his wife while they were parked in a mall, and the guy was acting like he was some kind of like Trayvon, like what happened with Trayvon Martin, a wannabe cop, and disrespecting the man's wife, and he walked up and pushed him and said, "Yeah, leave my wife alone." Guy pulled out a gun and shot him, and the police didn't do anything. They say he had a right to shoot him.
Right.
Stand your ground law.
Yep. I've seen the video several times.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would love to hear Robert's opinion on that because, Robert, you were an officer for how long?
I worked for the state for 3 and for the county for about 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts about have you seen that video?
I haven't seen that video,
Okay.
but I heard people talking about it.
Well, I will tell you the thing, I'm not sure it was necessary for him to push the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would have handled it that way. I probably would have gotten in the guy's face before pushing him to make him back off.
Mm-hmm.
But even though he pushed him, there was no evidence that he was resuming an attack. He appeared to be retreating.
That's right.
And the guy rolled over, pulled the gun out, and shot him. So the stand your ground law, put the stand your ground law there, to me, doesn't make any sense.
Definitely not. And there was no weapons on the brother that, was shot either.
Yeah.
So it's not like he pulled out a weapon, and the whole thing is unjustified. But thank you, Jay, for calling in, and I'm glad to hear from somebody.
It was just a copy of Trayvon Martin. And
exactly.
The same story, and it's just so tragic that since that law came into effect, I'm very careful when I'm riding roadways or whatever it is. I try to stay away from negativity, but sometimes you can't.
Exactly.
So, you don't know what's going to happen day to day when you're out here with these people, especially with Trump and all of this nonsense. Everybody feels pretty brave now. These white racists, they feel very brave, coming up to folks now.
You better preach.
Yes,
and,
they do. Yes,
and we could
they
talk about
do.
these things, right, on your show here. Yeah, I know
sure,
you're very
absolutely,
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we talk about here.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Listen, the way my life is set up, I got to be careful too, because you never know who's listening at this point, and it just breaks my heart, like Jay is saying, because it's like, what happened to freedom of speech? It's like we can't even say anything without feeling like we may be, our lives are in danger, or even a man is standing there and he's protecting his wife, because guess what? You know what I'm thinking about too, that I don't know if others have thought about it. Had the conflict between the man's wife and this man that shot him or what have you continued, how about if he would have pulled out the gun and killed the wife ultimately?
And he had his baby in there. The baby was in the car also.
Yeah.
So it's like a lose-lose situation that we're facing right now. But this is why I do my events. This is why I promote organizations like National Action Network. And this is why I stand with the community, because we got to do something. We can't just sit down and die. I'm sorry. I'm not going to just sit down and die.
And listen, one of the reasons why I have come to the conclusion that we do need to bring NAN to this area is what happened with Greg Hill. That is such an insult. Robert and I talked about it before we came on the air. They gave that man family a $4 verdict. That was the ultimate insult.
Slap in the face.
That was really, really bad.
That was
so. And I don't even know if Reverend Al even knows anything about that, but that's something that requires some redress, because it would have been better, and I've said this before, and you've heard me say it before, those of you listening to me, I would have felt better if you gave them nothing.
That's right.
Than what you did.
That's
because
right.
You sent a message, a nasty message, giving a verdict like that. So that's how I feel about that. But anyway, Jay, listen, what you need to do, I know you know where my office is, get in touch with me, because we're in the preliminary stages, and Anaya has asked me to look into seeing whether or not we can resurrect this thing here. And now that I've met Robert, we'll see what we can do about trying to reestablish the NAN chapter here in the Treasure Coast.
And I'm gonna
good. And if there's anybody that wants to travel down to, Clearwater, Al will be there in person Saturday.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be there at the church there. And big rally. They're going to have a big rally all day Saturday up there.
Yeah.
Oh, that means he's not going to be in New York then. See, I'm saying sometimes he's there
I guess he's going to go there, right after he leaves his meeting, because his meeting starts early, like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Got you.
So you never know. He can probably do that, and be there for the rally.
Okay. Thank you so much,
right,
Jay.
Okay,
Take care.
Jay.
Have a nice evening.
Hey, Jay, get in touch with me now.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'll definitely contact you. I'll be right
Okay.
right there.
All right, folks, we're going to take another break. And if you want to call in, that phone number again is 340-1590. That's 340-1590. Don't touch that dial, because we'll be right back with the African American scene.
Serving the entire Treasure Coast, Howard Insurance and Associates in Port St. Lucie offers a wide variety of insurance products, along with the very best customer service. Whether you're shopping for the best homeowners coverage at the most affordable value, contact Rudy Howard's team at Howard Insurance and Associates. If you need coverage for your vehicle, call Howard Insurance and Associates, 343-9878. That's 343-9878. Maybe you're planning to add a boat, motorcycle, or RV. Call Howard Insurance and Associates for your free quote at 343-9878 and get the coverage you need at a cost that will fit your budget. For home or business, auto or recreational vehicle, choose Howard Insurance and Associates, 600 Southwest Darwin Boulevard, Suite 206, Port St. Lucie. And for your free rate quote, call them at 343-9878, 343-9878. WPSL Treasure Coast weather with meteorologist Steve Villanueva is brought to you this hour by Seacoast Air Conditioning.
Good evening, everyone. Steve Villanueva here. A few showers and thunderstorms will be possible through the evening hours, but mostly inland. Otherwise, as we head into tonight, we'll see mainly dry conditions. We're partly cloudy. Temperatures quite warm, middle and the upper 70s. Tomorrow, lots of dry air sitting on top of us, so that means plenty of sunshine. We're partly sunny. We have about a 30% chance of seeing those afternoon thunderstorms. They'll start along the coast during the morning to early afternoon and then march inland. But again, they're scattered about, so not everyone sees them. Otherwise, we'll see a high of 90 as we head into your Thursday. I'm WPTV Storm Team 5 meteorologist Steve Villanueva for WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Weather this hour is brought to you by Seacoast Air Conditioning, your hometown air conditioning company since 1982. For repairs or a whole new system, call 772-466-2400.
Comfort crisis, don't roast, call Seacoast.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now continue with the African American scene. Once again, here's your host, Rudy Howard.
At this initial stage, as we're trying to see about resurrecting the NAN organization here, I will be the contact. So if you want to get in touch with me, and I will have some applications that Anaya has provided for me, and you want to become a member of National Action Network, get in touch with me, and we will begin to look at what we can do in establishing a meeting location and some initial memberships. So, and
That is exciting. And Robert is going to be your co-pilot, huh, Robert? You're going to be right there too, right? Look, he's already filling it out. He has the application and he's already filling it out. That makes me so happy. Guys, when I tell you, I'm just in awe about this because, like I said, I had no idea Robert even knew about NAN. Never mind actually having an established entity here already. So I think this is going to be a great, agenda to push and just to help the community get back together. And you never know what else can happen. And, let me tell you guys this, too, especially Jay, for thank you again for calling in. Reverend Al Sharpton actually does fly in. From what I've heard, he flies into the community that opens up an office and a space. So he will come right here to the Treasure Coast. And guess what? I'll be his co-pilot for that. I'll be right here back on the Treasure Coast for that one. Y'all, is that okay?
Definitely.
but he's been here.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Yes, he was here. I saw
idea.
him. He was in he was in the community center. I remember when he was there. I think Reverend Richardson brought him in from New York. And you know, I have some familiarity with Reverend Richardson. He was considering joining my fraternal organization, Omega Psi Phi, but he didn't. But so I know a little bit about Reverend Richardson.
Okay.
So.
That's amazing. And Reverend Richardson, the father or the son?
The son. The son has a church here.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
So,
well, I'm excited. That's all I have to say. We got to keep working together.
Yeah, we're gonna make some things happen. Now, when we were off the air, Robert was kind enough to educate us on some of the important aspects of law enforcement. Robert, why don't you share my audience what you were saying about law enforcement?
Yeah, what I was trying to say, especially about event we were discussing early. So one thing I will try to tell the community, it's sometimes it's the law, sometimes it's not the law. It's about the people who enforce the law. So what we'd like to do in the community is when we have go to the city meeting, so make sure we're going to fight to make sure our law enforcement reflect the community. Because sometimes most of the problem is not the law, it's the people enforce the law. So, and like I said, as a law enforcement, I go to the house where a kid has a problem with the parent. So where I ask those kids to go to some community service, go do something, instead put them in behind bar. But other officers, what they do, when they come over, they just put them in behind bar. Because there's so many different things you can do for a kid who's under 16, 17. Instead, arrest them, put them in the juvenile justice system. But if the person don't know you, don't know your culture, when I say don't know you, don't know your culture, he don't know where you're coming from, he don't know about you. Especially they try, every time you go in the system, they're done with you.
Yep.
So we need to fight to keep our kids out. So, and like I said, we need to fight to make sure our law enforcement reflect our community. Just like in the prison system, there's so many things. Instead, like when sometimes, I give you an example. You might be encounter a police. He don't have to put you RSU. If he want, he can give you a citation. You go to the judge.
Right.
When you go to the judge, if the judge decides you to go to the jail, you go to the jail. If he decides you go free, you go free. But the officer, sometimes him and the supervisor can use his own discretion. Mm-hmm. So just like if they pull you over if your license is suspended, so for instance, you don't have to go to jail if the officer. But some officer take you to jail because he don't worry about you. He don't care. Exactly. He put your jail number behind on your life.
And then there's another thing too. I like what you're saying about that, because what we have to comprehend is, first of all, we need more people of color. Okay, let's be realistic. Black and brown people in the police officer positions, in the judicial positions, right? So what happens is, and I like what we're talking about now, because I do want to shout out somebody that's going to be a part of this event. But like for those that are listening right now, this is not just a regular show. For me, this is like life and death, literally. We have too many people that's slacking off, that's not behind the law. Like, you guys are in the law because you done been arrested so many times. So now you have this number attached to your name. Whenever you go anywhere, they can look you up and realize that you're a felon. We need to stop that. Follow the laws and then become the law. That's me. Like, I want to be the person helping make decisions at the table instead of being the person that's behind the bars. And with Robert sharing this, it's very important for you guys to listen, take heed, and actually like try to be a part of society in a positive way. Our young people, for example, if you have a young person right now, let them listen to what we're talking about, because we don't talk about this enough. If you have a young person and they're in the streets, what you think is going to happen to them? When you give them all their rights and you're telling them, screw the law, F the police, whatever you're saying in the communities, in your homes or whatever, you're telling them basically that they don't have to follow the law and that they can do whatever they want. And that's actually their prison sentence right there. That's actually them going 6 feet under, because you're telling them that they don't have to follow what others are saying. It's unfortunate that we have the law set up the way it is. But if you guys really reflect and stop trying to be in the entertainment industry, and I'm saying that because I'm in the entertainment industry, so this is why Freedom Entertainment Group actually started, when I started to see the disparaging situations that we have. If you guys stop trying to live this high and mighty life and actually get a career where you can help enforce certain things, then you can make a world of a difference. And last thought I want to say, King LeBron James this past week, come on. Did he not just open the Promise University, the Promise School, the Promise Life? I don't even listen. Shouts out to my king. Yo, when I tell you, this is exactly around the lines that we're talking about, because this brother, he could have been playing with them hoops, and those balls or whatever you guys do in the basketball court. I'm not a big whatever y'all running up and down the court. And he literally has taken his funding and his monetary gain, and he is giving back in such a powerful way. And I want each person that's listening to me under the sound of my voice to reflect that, to go out, and if you can't build a university, dang, go work with somebody that's doing it. Or look into being a law enforcement officer. Shouts out to my law enforcement officers here on the Treasure Coast. Shouts out to my girl, Miss Maya. That's really the only one I know at this point, because I've left, for a while. But and then Mr. Joseph here, who's implementing some great information to the community. But we need more Black and brown officers. Judges.
I was saying earlier.
Oh, Nerlene Smart, what's up?
I was telling Robert, my son's best friend, who's like a son to me, he just finished police academy last week, and I attended his graduation.
That's right.
So and when he came to me, and because he calls me Uncle Rudy, he said, Uncle Rudy, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And I said, Mike, do it.
That's it.
And some people were really shocked that I said that. When I said, well, if you are shocked, then you don't know me. I am not anti-law at all. I'm anti the way my folks have been treated by the law.
That's right. You can't beat them, join them. Come on. Seriously.
Well, and listen, I was a member of the Allegheny Franciscan Foundation, which is a Catholic nonprofit organization that provides grant money for various health-related projects. And one of the projects that we did, and it's out of Palm Beach, and I was on it for about 6 or 7 years, was to provide cultural diversity education to physicians. This goes back to what Robert was saying. Because sometimes the doctors did not understand the cultural differences of the people that they were dealing with.
That's a fact.
And so they were making wrong interpretations about how the people were responding to them. And so what we would come in and do is do a cultural sensitivity session. Like some cultures don't like you in their space when you're talking to them. That's just a normal, that's not offensive.
It's just them.
It's just that's what they're used to. You know what I mean?
And for instance, Woody, let me give you an example. In Miami, they train you when you knock somebody's door, especially a Spanish household, you don't talk to the woman. You talk to the men.
That's right.
So whatever, if you have to something to the wife, after you present yourself to the man, now he allow you to talk to the wife. Because anything could happen bad when you adjust the wife before you adjust the man. Because you need to know the culture before you're going to serve those people. So
wow, that's beautiful.
We did another a project that was really, really successful. The Spanish people in the area were reluctant to do prenatal care, the women. So what we did is, this goes right along with what Robert's saying, we had a program where we took the fathers and we educated the fathers about how important the prenatal care was for their wives, and that turned the whole thing around.
Wow. You see that? You see how that works? And that's a funny thing that you actually were working in this field. That's actually one of the people that I spoke with yesterday talking about the healthcare field. I wanted to shout out Road Trip Potty. Now, this is interesting that we're talking about health because this young lady by the name of Miss Angela Braithwaite, I think, I hope I got that right. Shouts out to her. She actually created a whole concept for women to help women as they're traveling, and it's like this little road trip potty thing. And it says, Road Trip Potty offers the Road Trip Potty portable female urinal, a patented solution for women and girls that eases the anxiety of road trip travel. And this is important for people to know because while we're talking about health and wellness, and this is what we do with my organization, we promote people in this way. These are the types of things that we need to be promoting. Healthcare, awareness. This can save people's lives. And this inventor is going to be there on Friday. And I want her to speak out about different things. But I had to just plug that in because we're talking about this health thing. And I'm glad. And women need to know about this too. So, yeah, totally.
And it's not about the woman. I think the community, everybody.
Yeah.
So it's every single person. Because I think in 2015, and there's a lady, I believe her name is Mrs. Dawson or something. And she passed away from the hospital because they kick her out from the hospital. Because when she told them she cannot breathe, they say, no, nothing wrong with you, get out. She refused to leave the hospital.
Right.
And they have to call law enforcement. When the police come, the police say, you're going to go in jail for trespassing, disorderly conduct, all kind of charge. And the lady just fell down. They say, the officer said, I don't care, you still going in jail. I don't care, you faking it, you going in jail. Guess what?
She died.
She died right there.
And
where was that at?
That's on North Florida. I have to double check it for you, but it happened in North Florida in 2015. So there's so many things.
That's happening.
We have a social injustice in this country.
Yeah.
So people don't know about it. People don't address them. And just for instance, I give an example. We talk about law enforcement. We have people sometimes who go in jail as a good citizen. They come back as a criminal. They go as a good man, they come back criminal. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody go in jail for non-violent crime, like smoking marijuana, for instance. He got 1 year and a half, whatever he get. Now he's end up in state prison, right? Now, he went as a smoker or seller or whatever. He's not a criminal, but he violated the law. But this guy gonna have to fight for his life while he's in prison.
Over something.
So when he tried to fight for his life to survive, now he has to be part of one gang. Somehow he has to be part of the gang. Especially when you go in a jail like this for 1, 2, 3 years. So the people who's in criminal, who's there for lifetime, 30 years, 40 years, they know you coming soon. So they want to quit you for for you to come out when you get out to work for them. So therefore, if you don't be part of my gang or you be part of Howard gang, so somebody gonna kill you. So if you don't want to get killed, you're gonna be part of the gang. So that's how you train how to become a criminal. Now when this guy come in, he's getting worse. When this guy can get something, little thing, so get some community service for what he done, he stay service the community, service family, but now they send him in there and become a criminal.
So that's why we need more people
and
to
listen,
be law enforcement.
The thing is, too, and I've talked about this here on my show several times. Here's the dumb thing people don't realize. It is cheaper to send someone to Florida State who's a Florida State resident.
That's right.
For a full year tuition, books, fee, and a dorm than it is to house them in prison.
That's right.
So you could take that same money and send a person to college for a year. Instead, you send them to prison, and then putting them in college will make them a productive citizen and pay taxes versus putting them in college. I mean, in prison.
In prison, right.
And
But it's a business. But that's the thing. It's a business, and that's why we need this type of roundtable conversation. People get bored. People get tired of talking, but not only do we need to talk about it, we need the action. So again, you guys definitely reach out to Rudy for the National Action Network, Mr. Robert Joseph, and then of course myself, especially if you want to come out this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm just going to share this real quick. 833-334-6468 is the number, and you can reach me at extension 1 because I know our time is wrapping down. So 833-334-6468 for Freedom Entertainment Group, extension 1 for Anaya A. And definitely come out, guys, and be a part of this community and see how you can work together under Treasure Coast. And we'll be back next year, of course.
Yes, thank you. Please come out and support Anaya. She does this event every year, and I would appreciate you coming out to support her event.
Yeah.
Well, boy, I got to tell you, man, this hour went by so fast. Oh, my God.
I'm like, oh, my God, I didn't even get to shout out everybody. But shouts out to all the speakers and the people coming. Oh, Dr. Gregory Eugene, by the way, is going to be there and speaking, and I'll be with him tomorrow at another radio interview. Yeah. But, yeah, this year, Lord, man, this whole hour went by quickly, but this year has gone by quickly, too.
And to add little things, like when I was talking about money for college, and the state of Florida spend only $8,000 for each student to go to school. They're spending about like $20,000 to $30,000 to keep somebody in prison. It's based on the prison, because the private prison.
Oh,
go ahead, finish.
Because the private prison, the way they took people, they take you based on the qualification. So you have to based on behavior qualification. That's why it's getting more expensive when you go to private prison. So therefore,
it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. So listen, folks, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning into the African American scene. And God bless and be safe. And I will see you right here next Wednesday. Hopefully, I'm going for a little surgery on Friday. And if I'm good enough, I will be back here on Wednesday for the African American scene. Take care.
Archives of this program are available on YouTube. Simply go to WPSLTV.com on YouTube. It'll take you right to our YouTube. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, celebrating 25 years and counting.